Hey there, just a quick reminder, we have a mentorship program if you're looking for personalized coaching and mentorship to help guide you to the next level of your interior design business, whatever that might look like for you, whether it's processes and procedures or what services to offer to how to incorporate wellness, intention, or spirituality into your projects. Come join us over at designcoven.com/join. Or if you're just in search to connect with other like-minded interior designers, you can join our free community, also located at designcoven.com/join. This is our last episode in the series for San Diego Design Week, discovering the theme of inspiration through the senses. And we end with the sense of touch with Anke of 12 Senses Retreat. This has been a dream of Anke's for over a decade. And the first seed was planted when she traveled to the Valle De Guadalupe with some friends and visited La Villa De La Valle and was deeply touched with the co-owners, Phil and Eileen. She was inspired by them leaving their careers in Los Angeles. They had moved across the border and built a new life for themselves. Their incredible passion for high quality artisanship and sustainability left a long-lasting impression with Anke. And 10 years later, after that trip, she has created a beautiful retreat space. She is so proud and humbled that they are a new member of the Design Hotels group, which has been a long go-to for inspiration for travel and hosting. And today we get to discover 12 Senses Retreat, where the name came from, and Anke's origin story through design, which is really fascinating because it comes from the world of car design and where she grew up. So I hope you enjoy this episode. You've got to check out the 12 Senses Retreat. I've done many events there through our moon circles and have had the privilege of staying at the retreat myself. And it's just a truly, truly magical space that I invite all of you to experience. You're listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. This is a podcast that guides you as a new or inspiring independent interior designer navigating your entrepreneurial path. Here, with my over 20 years experience, I will share my holistic approach to design with intention and ancient practices, including Feng Shui, all incorporating mind, body, and spirit into my design projects. You will also learn from seasoned interior designers as they give strategies and insight of how they built their businesses and continue to work in the field. Together, we will discover supportive trade partners, new ideas, creatives, and inspiring artists from around the world. I am your host, Rachel Lorraine Crawford. Welcome back to Bewitching the Home. We have Anke Bodak with the 12 Senses Retreat here in Encinitas. And we're going to be, discovering inspiration through touch with Anke and her space. This is for, of course, our special edition episodes with San Diego Design Week. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and set our space by ringing our bell. Just connecting with the present moment. Connecting with our breaths and our bodies and anchoring in. I'm going to light a candle. Kind of just connecting with that element of fire. Creativity. Yes, it's going. My candle's getting smaller by day. I just keep lighting this beautiful Mithras candle. So I'm going to pull us a card, Anke. I am pulling a card from Moon BB Magic, tarot from Angela Mary Magic. And this is her deck that she's created. Let's see what we've got here. Feast, Knight of Caves. Yeah, this is fantastic. Wow. So this is the Knight of Pentacles. And, we've got this horse here. And whenever I see the Knight of Pentacles or the Knight of Caves, I'm always looking at things going slow and steady and just being really intentional about the next step. It's not about rushing in or doing anything like that. It's just like taking the next step forward, being really intentional. And of course, Pentacles has to do with prosperity, abundance, money, physical things, like all of that. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
All right. Yeah. So what are you nourishing yourself over there with? What are you drinking?
Oh, I have a wonderful coffee in my beautiful cup. First to the cup, I love this brand. We have it everywhere in the retreat. Is Lagos del Mundo, and I always get it from my friend's shop in Tijuana. She's an amazing source, and she helped me with so many details in furniture and the retreat object. I'm not sure. Maybe you know the place, Rachel?
I don't. No.
Tijuana, I need to go back very soon. Maybe even next week.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Yeah.
So I love this cup because it's like really like raw, almost feels like raw clay is glazed inside, but it's beautiful, earthy feeling, speaking about touch. And I have my favorite coffee from town, which is Ironsmith.
You love it. You love it. So I've got coffee over here too, and I infuse it with the Fun Earth Co. mushroom mocha. I don't know if you've had any mushroom like coffees or mochas. They gave me some samples. I'll send you a sample. So good. Great. It's so good. Yeah. So that's kind of there to help me stay sharp, with my day and my brain function. But yeah, it's just a great way. And it has like this earthy texture attached to it. But I don't know, there's something about it. It's really, really magical. So that's
amazing.
What I start my day
yeah,
with.
Mushrooms are magical. I love mushrooms.
They are. So Anke, what's home for you at the moment? What does that look like?
So home, I feel like, of course, home is here and this is my house and the retreats. And I've lived in the house for over 20 years. So pretty much 22 years, which is amazing.
I didn't realize you were in that house for so long.
And I do like moving, but I can't believe I've lived in this house for that many years, but it's gone through many transformations.
Wow.
So that is definitely home, but I'm also calling Europe more and more home. I'm traveling more to Europe. I'm reconnecting. I think especially after COVID was hard because we have no family in the US. Everyone is in Europe. So I didn't see anybody for almost a year and a half.
Oh my gosh. And do you typically go there every year?
I definitely go every year. My parents come every year. And so I've just been going more back to Europe and exploring beautiful spaces there. And I'm feeling like, wow, I think I'm making a beautiful reconnection with Europe. And I'm even envisioning maybe in the future, that could be maybe my next home.
Yeah. And where are you originally from?
So I'm from Munich, from Germany.
Very cool. I love it. I mean, that I always think of Germany as like so in the groove of design with anything, which makes sense for you. So can you share with everybody your design origin story, like how you got into the world of design and what you were doing before this retreat?
Oh yeah, of course. So I studied product design in Germany. However, towards the end of my studies, we had to do already back then, which was probably over 25 years ago. There was like a lot of computer work and 3D modeling and things like that. And I was never like that into that. I was always more interested in what the jewelry designers were doing at my school, which was, this is a really long and maybe somewhat funny name. My best friend always makes a joke about it. He says, "Where did you study?" And then I say, Fachhochschule für Gestaltung Schwäbisch Gmünd.
Oh my God.
Cracks up laughing when I say that long sentence. So I studied product design there. However, I was always a bit more inspired by, the haptics and the feeling and all these rich materials that jewelry designers were using. And I always thought, wow, they have so much fun. Although, I really also loved product design. Then I did an internship at BMW, which was in California, back in Newbury Parks, north of Los Angeles. And I discovered color material design. However, back then, there were not many places where you could study that. And I don't even think there's that many colleges or universities where you can study it now. So towards the end of my study, I was dreaming about California, and I then moved with my boyfriend and then later husband. We moved to California, and I was actually only applying for color material design places, which is the automotive industry. And I had awesome connections through BMW, so I ended up at Nissan Design. in La Jolla, which was quite amazing. Absolutely loved working there. I stayed there about a decade.
Oh,
Definitely had
wow.
the best
Okay.
time of my life. Going to
Wow.
Japan many times, going to Europe. Incredible team. I still have many friends and good friend of mine who I still work with now,
Yeah.
Brian Thompson.
Yeah.
We both left about maybe 15 years ago, I want to say.
Okay.
And now we just always, consult together as a team. So we still have a very strong connection.
That's
And then I
amazing.
did the whole kind of startup, right? Partially
Uh-huh.
also with Brian Thompson. We went to a local new car maker back then. I would say that was probably about 15 years ago, or
Okay.
14. They were called V Vehicle and then Next Autoworks. And that was really fun because we were a super small team. We were some of the first employees. They
Oh
were
my
in
gosh.
downtown San Diego, believe it or not, a car maker
Oh my gosh.
that nobody really even heard about. But it was so much fun because we had to design everything from the logo to the car
Wow.
to the interior. And we really designed the entire interior like super sustainable. It had it's called fiberwood material
Okay.
in the almost entire car, whatever was a hard panel that also BMW had in the i3.
Oh yeah.
And it was really quite an amazing ride.
Whoa. That's so rad. And so how did you get from there to creating this beautiful retreat that you have?
So yeah, that's an interesting story. It literally happened. I want to say it happened because I'm sitting in my little Bali hut, which is my
Yeah.
office too.
Yeah.
And I had that one assembled and built from Bali. And I've had it about maybe I would say also maybe 15, 16 years. And one day I was hosting, I love to make breakfast and I had like a big brunch for my birthday. And a lot of people always wanted to take photos in front of the Bali hut. And all of a sudden that idea sparked as I'm taking photos on my birthday when I was cooking. I'm like, wow, if I just had a couple of those huts, that could be really cool. Maybe I could just host and make breakfast and design like a little retreat. So that was maybe about 12, 13 years ago. Then I started searching, looking for lots and plots and partners. So the whole search took maybe about 8, 9 years until my son, who was like 12 years old, he said he was maybe going a bit crazy with me looking everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
On and off all the time. It's somebody said, Mom, just do it at the house. I'm like, wow, that is a brilliant, very simple, but probably the smartest idea ever that I never even thought about. I think kids sometimes have the most genius, brilliant, and simple idea that can be overcomplicated. So then I realized, wow, I think this could be a feasible idea to tear down. I had to tear down about 2/3 of my house.
Okay.
Pretty much use almost all my retirement savings.
Wow.
And then just like go for it and built a retreat with 4 rooms. And in the meantime, thinking, hopefully I will like hosting. It's like, oh my God, I hope I've never really hosted to that scale, which I mean, it's not very big, but it's still 4 rooms and we include breakfast. So it's definitely many hours.
Yeah.
However, I did Airbnb for maybe 5, 6 years.
Okay.
And
At your current house?
Loved it. At my current house, yeah.
Okay.
I got divorced and then I had this somewhat big house to myself and I thought, oh, I should just rent off a portion. I rented it and then I thought, wow, it would be nice to maybe here and there have space for my parents or friends to visit. Then I did the Airbnb and that was really quite fun. Did that 4 or 5 years. But especially like connecting with the guests. So then the idea of the retreat was even much better because when you Airbnb, you don't have that much close contact to the guests.
Right.
When you make breakfast and you organize, massages and retreats, and you definitely have a lot more close contact with the guests, which is the most fun part and the most inspiring part.
Absolutely. And I know that when I was first introduced to you, we were talking and, the contractor that you used, I had also used on a house in Encinitas. Can you, so that was like just, a serendipitous little moment that we had.
They're amazing.
Can you share with us how you found them and why you went with them and kind of the story of the sustainability aspect of this build?
Yeah, of course. So first, I had incredible architects. To backtrack a little bit, one was from Nissan Design. He literally made the first sketch, and that's actually why the entire building is even black. Stephen Moneypenny, so cool. Absolutely super talented automotive designer. However, he loves architecture. So he did some of the first sketches. And then I had Tokozani Mabena. He's a really dear friend of mine and multi-talent. He first studied architecture and then moved to automotive. So he did the reverse path of what I
Okay.
did. And then I had a
Oh my
local
gosh.
architects team. They were also my best friends and they were my nannies. And no, they were my architects, offset design. So that's like the whole group that helped me get to a certain level.
Wow.
But then I had to find the builder. And I first had someone down the street who sounded amazing. The
Uh-huh.
price sounded too good to be true.
Mm.
However, then I was very lucky. It never really worked out with him.
Hmm.
And I also really didn't understand the whole process and, fixed price, not fixed price.
Got it.
So that fell through the cracks, which was lucky because he was way too low and I would have totally run out of money.
Oh yeah.
And then I started a really long search and I found that was maybe almost the most complicated part of the process because just finding the right builder and knowing who's right. So
Got
through
it.
my bathroom connection in Solana Beach, my friend there, she said, I have the dream team for you because I told her I lost the builder, but luckily because I think he didn't have the right price. And it
Yeah.
was, and she mentioned then the Alliance Green Builders. And as soon as she
Hmm.
described them, I knew like, that's it, that's them. But I was wondering like, wow, they're probably out of my price
Right.
range. They built amazing homes. So then I got a couple of other connections and then I worked on that almost 6 months. And they were so majorly thorough and they were all into
Mm.
sustainability. I mean, they're Alliance Green Builders. So I
Yeah.
knew from day one they were the right match. And they really were
Yeah.
incredible. They like worked with me with the pricing. I did a lot of the sourcing and then I even
Wow.
helped with the build. So they were really incredible to like matching my budget. And
Hmm.
even the best part is they built everything within 8 months. I mean, it was
What?
such a
That's
great flow. I
crazy.
know, including teardown. I mean, they were literally here 6 days out of a week, I think. And
Wow.
someone say, oh, it's such a nightmare to build. I'm like, oh my God, I would always build with him again. It was really nothing. There were like no problems.
Yeah.
We were all aligned. I sourced all the materials and the interiors and the details. And it was very easy.
Yeah.
And it
So I
was
mean,
a lot of fun.
you really were the designer on this project. I mean, you designed everything, right? You spec'd everything and
Yeah, I expect everything. Although I have to say, offset design, they're like the experts. So,
uh-huh.
it was good teamwork with them and they did all the plans and we didn't have much space to work with. And it was
Hmm.
tricky with the city because we had to convert my home into into a B&B. So we had to invite like, I think it was at least 500 neighbors to like
Oh my
a little
gosh.
gathering to hopefully everybody's on board. And then there was a city meeting. And then there's all kinds of like a lot of details that a B&B needs to do. Like
Mm.
all the rooms have to be interconnected. You are only adding 499 square feet. Everything else was sort of a remodel. So
Wow.
yeah, it was like a year of like shifting and changing and adjusting the plans and bugging the city and just being patient. But I'm not the most
Oh,
patient person, but that really taught me a lot in being just be patient.
yeah, it's gonna
Just
happen.
refining. Yeah.
And
So it was all a
while
great teamwork.
oh my gosh. And while all this was happening, you were also were you working for the doing car design or what were you doing while all this was
Yes,
kind of
I
going
was
down?
still consulting. I was probably like part-time consulting still, and I was still doing a little bit. But that was really fun. I worked at really great startup companies that now are, out and in production.
Yeah.
One was Zoox, another one is Neuro. It's also a great car. And
Wow.
then lately I've also been helping out Aptera, which is also another great local startup. And
Yeah.
then also some other, smaller projects and many of them with Ryan, which was really fun.
Wow, that's awesome. And how did you get the inspiration for the rooms and the way you designed and like where did all that kind of spark from?
So I think at that moment in time, I was listening a lot to Eckhart Tolle and a lot of the Oprah, podcasts, and I was all into, meditation from
Mm.
Chopra. And I was thinking, how can I really build a retreat that gets you to focus in the now and not be like dispersed in so many different places, which I feel I am myself a lot. We always have to
Yeah.
multitask and so many things running at the same time that for me, my safe haven was always meditating every single day
Mm.
and then just, trying to be in the moment as much as possible, which
Right.
nature is the best place to do that or meditation. So I was researching how could I build a retreat like that, and also going back to my ties, which I grew up in the Waldorf environment.
Okay.
The schools that are designed by Rudolf Steiner, and he has a whole philosophy. And I'm always very inspired by the senses. And
Yeah.
the interesting story is, and that is a Rudolf Steiner theory, there's not just 5 or 6 senses, there's actually 12 senses. And so they go beyond, touch, smell. We have sense of temperature. Like, for example, when we touch an object, we also can sense the temperature. We feel the temperature.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Is it hot or cold? And that's also how we sense the quality of a material. Many times we may feel that a ceramic cup like this may feel more like a higher quality than plastic, but we also feel that with maybe the ceramic may feel a little warmer, or for example, if it's stone, it may feel cooler. Plastic, maybe like right in the middle.
Yeah.
So I studied and wanted to involve the 12 senses, which goes back to nature again. The 12 senses are best experienced in nature.
Okay.
And nature is always my inspiration. I mean, nature makes everything absolutely, it's divine and perfect. We can only maybe somewhat mimic nature or inspired by nature. So I thought, and I could do 4 rooms. How about I just do the 4 elements of nature and then involve all the experiential aspects of your senses. So sense of touch is obviously a very big component.
So can you share a little bit about each one of those rooms and how you incorporated the element and what that element meant for you, and maybe talk about color or, the pieces that are in that space that correspond to the element that you've chosen?
Yeah, so I started out with making mood boards, just how I would do for automotive.
Yeah.
Just collecting all kinds of different samples, and this may even have been through my travels. So a couple of components and also pictures may have come from Europe or Mexico. So I would say the inspiration is kind of a little bit multicultural, like I see myself as well too, and we're really close to Mexico. So a lot of the items and materials are sourced that way. So for example, the fire room has really amazing wallpaper. It's recycled leather from the shoe industry.
Wow.
And it's beautiful to touch. It has these awesome ribs. And that one is actually, I believe it's Holland. It's called buckskin.
Okay.
And so I have that same wallpaper in each room, but it comes in different colors.
Got it.
So the one in the fire room is charcoal. And then also, to be honest, to all the materials, there's nothing fake, or there's not much, if any, plastic even. All the stone flooring is, inspired by the elements. So the stone flooring there is volcanic and it's charcoal. And then I was able to find beautiful, either a bathtub or shower pans from Duravit. They're called Stonetto, and they actually are, right? They're amazing. The cat stone, and I was so lucky because they were discontinued by the time we had all the permits. Like, oh no, the entire design of my room.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I need to have the shower pan. But we had good connections, and they still shipped them to me. And it's just
the
beautiful,
worst, right?
I know. It's so stressful, but it worked out. And they all come in different colors. And then one of my favorite materials is, and we have a lot of wood because wood has such warmth, incredible touch.
Yeah.
I'm sure you may know this company, Delta Millworks.
I don't think I know that.
They're in Austin.
Okay.
I should give you a box or contact for sure. They're amazing.
Yeah, I would love to learn about them.
And they're totally sustainable. And I love the sustainability story of the materials we have. First of all, they treat most of the wood with vinegar, so just vinegar.
Wow.
And that is against like termites or any bugs, which is amazing. I love when there's just one natural ingredient, and it also is just really so brilliant.
Yeah.
And so all the wood is treated by fire. It's called shosugiban, which is a Japanese method. We applied that to cover. We didn't have much space, so we kind of had to hide partially the bathrooms. All the other bathrooms are exposed, which is quite beautiful. But then all the toilets are covered with this beautiful shosugiban material, and then for each material, it will have a different color. So in the fire room, it's burned and then stained in this beautiful red color.
Got it.
And then in the water room, it's also burned again, but then has a beautiful blue, watery color. And then we have incredible pictures in each room. It's a local artist. Her name is Alovas. And she literally works with the elements. So I think she worked with rain in the water room. In the fire room, the painting has like charcoal. So not just like on a superficial level, the materials reflect the element, but it really goes deep down, like all the way down to the character, to the
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
where, they actually burned the actual stone and they were volcanic.
So
Um,
beautiful. Yeah, we I just placed a bunch of Elle's work in a project, and we're gonna have her
oh,
on the podcast too, because she
oh,
just
amazing.
incorporates
We
all
love
these
Elle.
things. Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing.
Oh, she's
And I
awesome.
literally have to say too, like I was still obviously a little bit over budget and I kind of knew it. And she's also the most talented, most generous person. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll make the paintings and I'll just give them to you. And now here and there, customers buy them. It's been quite amazing to
So
work with
rad.
her.
So have people come into a room and been like, "Oh, I'm dying for this piece of art," and do they buy it off the wall, or is
Yes.
she making
And then she
pieces
makes
for
a
them?
new one.
Oh my gosh.
I have to say, sold many lobby pieces, mostly the
Yeah.
lobby pieces. Yeah.
Oh, I just love it. And then how did you, so you're really like, I mean, you're sourcing all these things, and the building's green and sustainable. Can you talk a little bit about what does that mean for you and in your space?
So I think from day one, I know like the more we source green materials, it's just first of all much more sustainable. It's great for nature, but it's also good
Hmm.
for us. So it's
Yeah.
interesting the effect of the rooms. We have literally nothing artificial. Even our trash bags are either paper or they're compostable, and even the compostable ones feel better.
Yeah.
I have to say that people come in and some of them tell me, this is not, I can't believe they say this actually. They're
Yeah.
like, I've never slept as good in my whole life. I
Oh,
hear statements like that. This is not, this is mostly due to just the amazing bedding we've sourced. So everything also in the bedding is natural.
mm,
So the mattress, it doesn't even have one coil or one metal piece that could have paint again, that could be toxic.
right.
It just pure latex, a local company. They're called the Mattress Makers.
Okay.
We have incredible pillows. They always have also just typically one ingredient. I feel like it's very similar to food. If you want to cook amazing, incredible, healthy food, the less ingredients, but the higher
Right.
quality, it's a very simple formula. And it always goes for a circle. I feel if we treat nature with respect, it's going to come back and it's going to, affect our health and our well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So we really have seen a lot of people come very transformed when they leave a few days later, particularly during the pandemic. We had so many people
Oh,
that
yeah.
literally had never left the house. So obviously it was a very challenging year for us
Yeah.
because we just kind of opened, and I was definitely, some of the months was like, wow, is
Oh my
anybody ever
gosh.
coming back? Like 6 weeks later, people started coming back,
Wow.
but it was just really so inspiring to see people that they actually made it back out into the world and they traveled and they put all their trust
Mm-hmm.
in my place, but then they would feel so nurtured by the food we make, by all the materials. And it's really because we treat nature with respect, and it may take a little
Yeah.
bit longer finding the right stuff. It may cost
A
somewhat
little
more
bit more.
money, but it's so 1,000% worth it getting materials and products
Mm-hmm.
that are sustainable. It's really great.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly a retreat. There isn't a television in there, and it's like you
Yeah.
go and
The only
um,
digital thing we have is we have little iPods
yeah.
we put in, but they're very small. But we have my favorite app on it. I love the Chopra app for meditations.
Oh,
And they were so
nice.
generous. They gave us all the app for each room. And I get very excited. Some of them look at the iPads and it tracks how many hours. I see how many hours actually people have
Oh,
used it.
wow, that's so
Yeah, it's
cool.
really cool. And then some other, there was some beautiful friends that spent time in the Earth Room. They had a great idea, which I should actually implement. I haven't done it yet, but first they wanted to watch a movie, then there was no TV, and
Yeah.
then they thought, oh, we'll just go out and create material to create vision boards. So they told me that they spent the whole evening, they had a bottle of wine and they were creating vision boards. I'm like, I should have like vision board
Oh,
material, like a little kit
yeah.
for people to buy. Wouldn't that be cool?
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
Oh, can you share with us, the type of people or that have been coming to the space, and where are they traveling from, and what are they really enjoying about the space or the area of Encinitas or any of that? Because I feel like you're pulling in a very special type of person that's being drawn to you.
Yes. And That's also an interesting story. We're not on not on all the travel sites, which I could probably generate a lot more business, but we
Yeah.
prefer having, a natural growth and having a lot of people come through design hotels and they're like really incredible people because they're already very design driven. Either they're
Okay.
designers or they love design and they
Yeah.
understand it. Or Tablet Hotel is also a good site. And then people literally just like search and find me, which those are also amazing people because they kind of look for certain things we offer, like maybe a retreat or yoga or more wellness. So I would say most people probably travel from Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of locals as well. And here and there we
Mm.
get Europeans or some South Americans. And then also maybe Arizona and the desert, especially in the
Okay.
summer. We get a
Yeah.
lot of them. And some people even drive. They take road trips. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean,
But
I know
yeah,
I've
incredible
met a
people.
few. Yeah, I just remember meeting a few, people, guests of your space through like hosting a moon circle or Reiki or a sound bath or whatever. And they come in and they're like glowing. They're just like in this
Mhm.
space. I feel like it's like this renewal, this wellness, this like it's so supportive and they can feel it. And like I said, they glow when they're in the space and they're so happy and excited. And I also feel like they're, rejuvenated and I also see that they're inspired. And they almost want to take like pieces of what you've done and bring it home with them.
Yes.
Has anyone said anything to you about like how you've inspired them in their own personal space?
Yes. A lot of people do ask and they said, oh, we found your place. We love your design or we love your materials. And we have a good section on our website where people,
Hmm.
I believe it's under the about, we moved it around a little bit,
Yeah.
that has like all the material sources. And I'm always happy to share them when they say they're building a home. I said, oh, you should check out this company and feel free to reach out. I'm happy to give them all the sources because they're all good, sustainable choices. See, a lot of people have come and then they kind of almost like shop around for products and
Yeah. They're touching
towers. And
everything.
yeah. And then I always tell my decking story. I love that too because we have a great wood. It's called Cabernet, and I love that
Okay.
story as well. How it's used.
Yeah. Tell me about
It's
it.
based it's also from Delta Millworks. It's called Cabernet,
Okay.
Kebony. They're also in Europe, and I think it's produced in Europe. I think in Holland again. Basically, they take a very fast-growing tree in New Zealand, and then although it doesn't involve shipping, but probably they ship a lot of material, and then they treat it with just heat and sugar, and then it
Wow.
kind of carbonizes, becomes like a dark wood. It becomes, like the ipe material, which
Yeah.
we should really not cut down more rainforest. So that's an
Yeah.
amazing alternative to ipe, and I love our decking, and I love that story that you don't have to use a tropical hardwood. You can really choose another option, and the way, again, it's treated just with 2 ingredients. Very simple, super basic, and beautifully
Oh my
sustainable.
gosh.
There's so
Yeah.
much cool stuff out there. I get so excited, and I'm like, okay, now the only thing is now I'm getting a little bit bored because the retreat has been around almost 3 years, and when I sourced all the stuff probably 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there's so many more incredible things out there. I just heard about, isn't it mycelium foam or something like that, like the mushroom,
Oh my gosh. What?
right? I know. I had a great event with design hotels in Greece,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
need to get you the contact.
Yes.
There was a perfect speaker. His name was Lucas. I need to get his last name again.
Okay.
And he built an incredible showcase home. I think it was in Belgium. He lives in Belgium.
Mm.
And his wife is a hotelier, and that's how he got maybe connected with design hotels. Design hotels is amazing because they're more just than a platform. They're really a true partner, and they host these summits or meetings once a year called Arena
Okay.
for all the owners. And that was like the most amazing meeting I've ever been
Wow.
at in my life. So inspired by all these designers, builders, dreamers that would build hotels, maybe sometimes in the jungle where there's nothing, or converting. There's an
Wow.
incredible new design hotel in Berlin, which was originally a prison for women.
Mm.
And they converted to the most beautiful space. I mean, just like
No
talking
way.
about transformation and vision, it was amazing.
Wow.
But then there's Lucas, a guy from Belgium who had a talk. I need to yeah, get you the full name.
Yeah, that I
He
would
built
love.
a home with like 100 sustainable materials, and there was really some quite amazing advanced materials that I definitely want the sources of and just use it in the future. Would that be
Oh my
amazing? So
gosh.
someone said, he's like, wow, I want to build another one. What if I could use maybe if even 70% of those materials were
Yeah.
feasible, or even 50, but maybe even unheard crazy
Yeah.
materials? That could be really
Wow.
cool. And we met a company in it was in Greece, in Athens.
Uh-huh.
It was incredible place. They literally would collect like tons and tons of fishing nets, and they have a 3D printing machine. I thought, oh my God, we should get them and connect with people here to do the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
They collect all the fishing nets and then they 3D print anything out of it. Furniture, products, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And then
Wow.
the other choice they had that was amazing too, the other way they could transform trash, they would collect
Right.
old toys, shred it up, and then they mold it back into tiles. So I know my future hotel, if there's going to be another one, is hopefully
Oh
I
yeah.
can somehow integrate, you know, the complete tiles just from trash, but they look amazing, like terrazzo style,
Oh,
you
I
know,
love that. I love
and
it. Oh
cleaning up
my
the
God.
ocean.
Yeah. And speaking of what's coming in, like what are you working on? I feel like there's another retreat in the works. I feel like you're inspired and you've got some ideas here.
Yes, I've been very inspired with just my ties back to Europe and family being in Europe. And then because I didn't travel to Europe, I went kind of
Ah,
a lot. I've been going almost every 6 months, and I'm very inspired. Lately, it was Greece a little bit, but then I'm
mm,
like, wow, I think Mallorca or Spain would be a
yeah.
really great place for me. Especially Mallorca has so many ties to Germany. It's so easily accessible. I have some very good connections already there. Some friends of
Mm,
mine are moving there. So I'm very inspired about that place. And I'm
yeah.
debating maybe there's a way to plan something in the future there.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. I really would love to be completely zero waste and have
Mm,
more land. It's amazing and beautiful here, but we just don't have the huge area around us. So I
right.
feel it's working to a certain extent, but I want to be much better. Every time I get strawberries, I'm like, oh, it's still in this clamshell.
I know.
Growing some of my own, but I'm like the best gardener. So hopefully,
Yeah.
I may even invite or motivate my parents to go in with me, and
Mm,
potentially some
mhm.
other designers. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. And do you have any upcoming events at the retreat that people can partake in, or do you have anything that's coming up for that?
Yeah, so we will actually, we're going to do a really nice dinner event.
Okay.
We still have to set the date. It's going to be probably like the third week in September
Okay.
with a good friend
Ooh.
of mine, Françoise. Yeah, it's going to be a couple course dinner menu, probably not that many seats.
Uh-huh.
We're thinking maybe 12 or 14. So somewhat intimate, but really nice quality.
Yeah.
So that is the next one.
That's
Hopefully one with
beautiful.
you soon, Rachel.
Oh,
We should
I
do
know.
another
We
moon
need to
circle.
yeah, we should do Moon Circle. Maybe for
Those are
coming
always
into the
amazing.
fall.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I hopefully we have another moon circle. As you said, there are amazing events. They're so inspiring, and people talking about transformation,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
people
those are
coming to
neat,
those.
especially like the new moon when we get together and we just connect and set intentions for that time and then just sharing, like everyone just being so open and sharing and all of us being able to witness everyone else. And then, when I'm pulling cards, it's like a card for you like totally resonates with somebody else. And that's like the magic of it
I
all. And, we're getting all of this rich information and being together is just a whole other thing. And then, you bring the magic in with food and what you put together. And so it's really cool.
Yeah, when we did your first moon circle here, I thought, wow, this is really what I envisioned for the retreat.
Ah,
It literally resonated. Like when you first came, it was like, wow, see, this is what I want to do, and maybe even a lot more. That
yeah.
was really beautiful.
Yeah. We'll book
And just
another, we'll
having an
do another.
amazing group of people, it's just, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
incredible what can happen with a group. Not
Mm-hmm.
just even, the guest is amazing, but all of a sudden we have maybe 12 people.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I feel like the people that we bring in are super special. So rad. So what are you doing right now to kind of stay grounded and centered I feel like you're so inspired right now. You've got all these things happening, but what do you do to kind of come back to yourself?
So yeah, mostly I try and meditate every day, sometimes twice a day.
Okay.
Also, usually I try in the morning and then in the evening, and that really helps. I
Mm,
feel even sometimes if I can't do like 20 minutes, even 5 or 6 minutes helps.
yeah.
Even 2 or 3 minutes, as simple as it sounds or crazy as it
Yeah.
sounds. Um, so I would say that for sure. And
Okay.
then I love cooking. So even like making breakfast, believe it or not,
Mm.
helps
Oh
me
my God, your
ground it.
breakfast is beyond. I get to stay in the
Thank
earth room and you come in with breakfast and I'm like, oh my God, it's like
you.
absolutely stunning and it tastes even better than it looks. It's crazy.
Thank you. It's due to all the ingredients we have. It's all
Mm,
organic, and some stuff is from the backyard. So I feel like that's super grounding. And lately, one time the gardener didn't show up, and then I had to just garden myself a little bit in the
yeah.
front. Like, actually, I love it. I want to do more of that. My mother is such a good gardener. She
Mm,
spends so many hours in the backyard, and then she mostly has almost all the food, like fresh vegetables and salad, is
oh my
all from the
gosh.
backyard.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is so inspiring to me and grounding. Yeah, speaking
Hmm.
of grounding, just working with the ground or with the dirt, and I don't even like to wear gloves
Yeah.
no matter when I cook or sometimes I am have to say, as silly as it sounds, like I may have to jump in and I help clean,
Yeah.
but there's something amazing about cleaning the rooms and just like the
Mm,
transformation of, oh,
yeah.
it's somewhat maybe messy, not really clean, and then you transform the room for the new guests. And then towards the end, we sage or we put like Palo Santos,
Yeah.
and it's so how can I say, it's just so satisfying, or it's just
Yeah.
so gives you so much, there's so much joy in seeing that and just working with your hands, because I came from working so much on the computer, even though I
Mm.
studied and I was working in the color material design business. So much has turned digital, and I'm going back to when I studied, and I'm like, no, I'm way more inspired by the jewelry
Right.
designers. They actually work with all these materials, and I want to be in the screen that much. So I'm just trying to be off screen, but obviously it's much
Yeah.
easier because when you have a B&B, you run around, you deal with people. But then the other thing I would say too is I do go and I do yoga and I go to the steam room.
Mm.
That is like super grounding to me. And then we have some great healers and yogis here. So many times I don't even have to go anywhere.
Wow.
So we have a great class on Wednesday evening, and all of them are somewhat more of a gentle flow.
Mm.
And then we have a new Kundalini class on Saturdays, which is
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
Yeah, you should come. And then
I
Thursdays we have
should.
sound baths. You know, Julie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Julie's fantastic.
yeah. Rachel's also amazing with sound baths. And then a lot of people do it. You know, they get their privates. So
Mm.
sometimes too, I do a private Reiki class. I find that's actually the most grounding and amazing experience. And I've had one
Hmm.
with you too.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I need to
Those are
do that
great.
more. Now you inspired me.
You're like, wait a minute, I need to do some more of this. Oh,
And
I just love
massages.
it.
So I
And
try and do
massages.
something every day that I love to do. But I mean, I'm already doing it, even though I work a lot, but I'm
Yeah.
still just, it's so fulfilling to host and make the breakfast
Ugh,
and deal with the guests.
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're living your dream and you've really created something special over there. And every time I'm there, I mean, you walk in and it just feels good. So,
Thank you.
of course.
I hope you
How
walk in a
can
lot more.
I know I need to come in. I definitely need to
You
come
can come
in
in.
and like just visit
We're
or
putting new moon circle on the
yeah.
schedule.
Yeah, we're gonna put it on
Yeah.
the schedule. We'll pick a
Yeah.
date as soon as we get off of here so that we can share that with everybody
Yes.
and invite them over because they need to experience the space. How can people find you? How can they book you? Where can they experience your events and all the other things that you've got going on?
Yeah, the best through our website, which,
Okay.
my apologies, is very long. 12 Senses Retreat, and 12 spelled out as 12. But probably if you forget it, if you just Google 12 and Encinitas and just spell out the 12,
Yeah.
you
Well,
can
I will
find
have
us.
the link in the we'll have the link in the show notes
Yeah.
too, so they'll have access to that.
Yeah. And also design hotels, which I recommend anyone becoming a member. It doesn't cost anything. They create like incredible newsletters. And then you can see all these other incredible hotels that I
Wow.
mean, I've been inspired by this company for almost 20 years. So that was actually another dream of mine that I thought, wow, one day I thought maybe when I'm 60, maybe when I've had a hotel or a retreat at some point, I really want to be in their incredible network. And I'm still grateful every day. It's like, wow, I can't believe my mini hotel is in
It's in
this
there.
incredible larger group of really amazing hotels. So I recommend anyone, Google design hotels, and then you become a member, and then there's great member rates even. Doesn't cost anything. But they have just incredible newsletters, and you can just browse through all the hotels, and they really go more in depth. They have the story on how every hotel is built.
Wow.
So I think that is really inspiring. Wherever you travel, you can, when you go into the hotel under design hotels, you can read the whole story, how the hotel was created. And it's just so inspiring to read all these stories, how people either inherited something or they found something that was a ruin and they transformed it, or people find a spot in the jungle and then they create something magical. Yeah, it's like endless inspiration
So
on that
rad.
website.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I'm totally going to be scouring that site and just searching everything, and that's really cool.
Totally.
All right.
And then also Instagram, just 12 Senses
Okay,
retreat as
12
well.
Senses. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's we have a calendar on the website, so you can see all our events. And sometimes if it's a bigger event, we have it as a pop-up on the website.
Okay.
But on the calendar, we always post every like group event, and anyone can join, not just guests.
Perfect.
It's nice.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, thank you, Anke, so much for coming on and sharing your story and inspiring us, and just so appreciate you. I hope you all get to experience an event, if not stay at 12 Senses, because it's really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel.
You've been listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business podcast. If it's one that you have been enjoying, please share with anyone else that you think can benefit from this knowledge, and leave us a 5-star review. That helps us get seen and found by other new and aspiring interior designers. And if you're looking for mentorship, I invite you to join our club here at the Design Coven. It's a bridge between school and real life interior design. We get in much deeper there. We have virtual and in-person events, so everyone is welcome. You don't need to have a design degree to be part of it, just an interest in holistic interior design. I also want to thank our editor, Marcy Ferry, and lastly, Kinseth Thibodeau, who is our music composer. Until next time, be well, and we will see each other soon.